Hello friends, and welcome to a special video. Occasionally from time to time I do a recording of a spiritual practice, and today I'm going to do one for you. I've done this practice before. It's called soaking prayer, but today we're going to use water imagery to help us use this meditation. Soaking prayer is a type of prayer to do when we are either totally depleted or overwhelmed, when we just don't have much in us. Sister Teresa of Calcutta used to tell her sisters, a lamp cannot keep burning if there is no oil in it. And spiritual beings cannot keep giving and doing for others unless we are filled with God and filled with God's presence and filled with that big love. So today's practice is a way to receive God's big love, to be filled with eternal vivaciousness, so that when we are at times that are asking a lot of us, when we're going through things that are very bewildering and concerning, we can simply soak in God's big love and ground ourselves to that which is eternally good and resilient and wise. And if we do this often enough, we will then be able to respond to the challenges of this moment, be they environmental, be they social, be they political, be they medical. Whatever challenges we face them better if we're deeply saturated with God's love. So this is a practice for being saturated with God's love using water imagery. I was first introduced to this form of soaking prayer from the wonderful spiritual director from our tradition, the United Church of Christ, the Reverend Flora Slosson Wueller. And I give thanks for her being with us and her ongoing teachings through her publications. So a little word about doing, this is a guided meditation, and a couple of introductory words before I actually take you into the practice. First of all, if you've never done one before, I encourage you just to listen to this video before you actually try practicing it, just to see if you're comfortable with what's going to happen, so that you have a little bit of fore experience. Also, we never know what's triggering. There may be some imagery in the meditation. It may even be the tone of my voice. This may not be a good tool for you to use today. So just give it a little try out. You don't have to commit to it to begin with. Secondly, whenever we do any kind of a deep meditation, we're making ourselves extremely vulnerable. And sometimes that can cause important things to shake loose, and sometimes it can set some red lights off too that tell us that this is not appropriate. So if you're doing this meditation and it is not bringing you a sense of something appropriately careful, caring, loving, just be really kind with yourself and just say to yourself, I don't think this is working for me today. God bless all beings. And then slowly open your eyes and come back to the room and step out of the meditation. Turn it off. That's great self-care. You'll benefit from that if that's true for you. Another word about this is a guided visual meditation. I will be using some visual cues. And I'm aware that some folks do not have visual imaginations, but we all have some sort of sensate imagination. So I'll also try to put some cues into the meditation, which uses the other senses. If you are not a visual memory kind of person, if I use a visual metaphor, please engage your other senses, and I will try to be mindful of that. So, to prepare ourselves to enter this soaking prayer, which is a form of meditation, I invite you to put this video on pause for a moment and go find a really safe place, a quiet place where you can lie down or really collapse into a big chair. And when you found your place, come back and unpause. Welcome back. Now get your body really, really, really comfortable. You really want to relax. In fact, I'm going to do this too. I'm going to readjust myself just a slight bit so I can lean back into my chair. I want you to just be comfortable wherever you're seated or laying down. Take a good breath that goes into the lungs. And as you're ready, and if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. And sometimes when we close our eyes, that seems like it's a wake-up call to thoughts to come bouncing around. So I'm going to give you something to focus your attention on so that you don't have to worry about concerns or emotions, whatever's with you right now. I want you just to see what comes to mind, either your visual imagination or smell or taste, touch. Just imagine and remember a time when you either were in water that was profoundly comforting or you were near water that was profoundly comforting. Maybe seeing others in water. This could be natural water, a body of water. It could be human-created water, indoor plumbing. It might not be whole body immersion. As you allow yourself to remember a time when water was a truly comforting experience, it could be drinking a big glass of water when you're really thirsty. Or the gentle, gentle mist of rain. It may be the experience of actually being swimming in wild water, or even standing at your sink and doing the dishes. Just rest your body. Invite any weight in your body to go drop down to the ground. If you're lying down, it'll go out through the back of the head and the back of the torso and the back of the legs. If you're sitting down, it can fall down your head. The weight falls down from your shoulders, down your torso, down your hips. If you're sitting on the ground, it can go straight to the ground there, or if you're seated in a chair, go down your limbs, go down to your feet and down into the ground. Just let your body weight to the earth. Let its weight fall to the earth. Let gravity be your friend. And now truly let yourself be fully engaged with an experience, a remembered experience of loving, caring, life-giving water. Some folks find it helpful, especially if you're imagining being in a body of water, to gently rock your body from side to side. Maybe you were in a boat on a body of water, gently being rocked like in a cradle. Maybe you're walking down a path and are smelling the rain coming through the trees. There's a gentle rock to your gait. Our bodies are primarily water. And so when we are in the presence of refreshing water, it tells all the water molecules in our bodies that we are okay. We're okay. And now let's deepen this experience. And let's name this water that is tending us, that is calming us, that is soaking us. We name this water as the living water. That the Eternal One is holding us and sustaining us, repairing us, rehydrating us. You are welcome to remain in this state of receiving living water as long as you wish. You may even fall asleep, and that's just fine. If you'd like, you may wish to pause the video right now and stay in your own interior state. And if you're ready to move out to transition on in the meditation, I'll take a pause. And then after the pause, I'll lead a transition out of the meditation. And for those of you who may fall asleep, I just want to say a word of blessing upon you. That's a great gift you give God, for that when we are exhausted, if we fall asleep in God's presence and God's love, just like a child falling asleep in your arms, that is a blessing for both the one who is holding and the one who's being held. And now decide if you wish to continue or take a pause. Welcome back, friends. Continue on. Let's just spend a few more seconds with our eyes closed. You may want to go back to gentle movement to remind you of just soaking in God's big love, of being in water that is gentle and caring and safe. And when you're ready to transition to conclude the meditation, I invite you to begin by keeping your eyes closed. We're going to do this gently. And I like to just sort of rub the tops of my fingertips with my thumbs, just to become aware of the fact that I got fingers. And maybe you might want to roll or wiggle your toes or roll your toes a little bit and remind yourself, I've got feet. Keeping your eyes closed, begin to slightly turn your neck from side to side, twist it. You may want to roll your head and remind yourself, yep, I'm a whole body. And before you open your eyes, you might want to put your hands in a prayer position. Thank God for this opportunity to engage in soaking prayer using water imagery, water metaphor, water sensate memories. Take a deep breath, and when you're ready, slowly and gently open your eyes. This little meditation is a true gift. We need to soak in God's big love all the time, especially if a lot's going on or if we're really tired, if we're really overwhelmed. Just receive the gift of God's presence, and maybe this practice is one that'll be helpful to you. I want you to know that even if I don't know your name, you're in my thoughts and prayers. I send out God's big love to you, and truly take care, and I love you. Bye-bye. Amen.